Okay. Uh, Good afternoon, students. So last time we had started with the chapter "The Portrait of a Lady" from your book, The Hornbill, which is in your syllabus. Okay. So we will do what? We will just continue with the next portion. We have already seen. It was written by It is written by Kushwan Singh. The Portrait of a Lady is written by Kushwan Singh, and Kushwan Singh over here. If you go through the last video, if you have not gone through the last video, please go to the last video. Let's recollect some memories before we started. So the author speaks about his grandmother, who is very old, and here he also gives us an image of his grandmother, how she looks, how old she is, how was her standing posture, how she used to spend her time going around the house, and how she used to walk, how she used to look. And here he also said that that it was a revolting thought for him to accept the fact that his grandmother used to be very young and pretty at one time, and even she had a husband, because whatever he had known of his grandfather was that a portrait that hung in the on the mantelpiece in their drawing room, and that man was wearing one this loosely fitting clothes, and a big turban, and was having big white beard covering half of his face, so and half of his chest. So this is the portrait of his grandfather that he portrays through his writing over here in the first paragraph. And he speaks about his grandmother, how she used to be, how she used to even tell them about tell the author or the narrator about how she used to be pretty at one time, how she used to play the games and all. But this was almost revolting for the author to accept the fact, because he always had been seeing his grandmother this old, and it felt to him that she had been terribly old for ages, and she had at one point of time she had stopped aging, because she had already reached that optimum age that you need to be to become a grandmother. Okay, so here firstly we are being introduced with the author's grandmother through this lot of imagery that he used, and how he is himself featuring his grandmother, himself views his grandmother. He readily describes it in his story in the first two paragraphs. Let's move in the third paragraph. My grandmother and I were good friends. My parents left me with her when they went to live in the city. We were constantly together. She used to wake me up in the morning and get me ready for school, bathed and dressed me in the hope that I would. She said a morning prayer in a monotonous sing song while she bathed and dressed me in the hope that I would listen and get to know it by heart. I listened because I loved her voice, but never bothered to learn it. Now, already we have seen in the last paragraph, if you see, that she is a very religious woman. Most of the time, she is hobbling around the house, one hand on her waist and another hand telling the beads of a rosary. And what she is doing, she is her lips are constantly moving in inaudible pairs. So on this, from the second paragraph onwards, Kushwan Singh, the author or the narrator, whatever you say, he is telling about his friendship, about his relationship, is establishing his relationship with his grandmother. And the first line he speaks is that my grandmother and I were good friends. So he says that the relationship that established between him and his grandmother was something that was of eternal friendship, something that that cannot be called one mother and son relationship, or something like of a grandson or a grandmother, but of best friends. Okay. And the reason is that he says that because his parents had left him when they had went to live in another city, and at that time the grandmother and grandson were always together. Okay, she used to wake him up in the morning, and then she used to get him ready for school, and she used to constantly sing the morning prayer. She is a very religious woman. You'll definitely see as you go through the other parts of the chapter, you will see how religious she is. Okay, and this is one of the very particular character sketch of her, that she is a religious woman. We will be having a lot of questions from there as well, so please bear it in mind. She is a religious woman, and these are all the characters that make her a religious woman. Firstly, she used to move around the house with the rosary in her bead, totally her moves are constantly moving, her lips are constantly moving in inaudible prayer. She used to wake up the narrator in the morning and used to sing the morning prayer in the hope that the narrator would also learn it by heart. but he didn't did so. He only listened to her because he loved her voice. That's it. He did not have any interest to learn this religious prayers. The grandmother had the intention to pass on the same form of religiousness to her grandson, but her grandson was oblivious to all this thinking, and he only took interest on to hearing his grandmother's voice. Okay. So I listened because I loved her voice but never bothered to learn it. Then she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk, a tiny earthen ink pot, and a red pen, tie them in a bundle and hand it to me. So she would get him ready for school, and then she will give him all the school supplies that he needs, and will hand it over to him, and both of them will go off to school. After a breakfast of a thick stale chapati with little butter and sugar spread on it, we went to school. She carried several stale chapatis with her for village dogs. Okay, so they quickly would have breakfast with some stale chapatis, butter and sugar, and then they would quickly hurriedly leave for the school. And while they left, his grandmother would take him to the school, and along with her she would take some chapatis for the village dogs. Now this is also a very important characteristic feature of the grandmother. You will come to know as we go through the story that she was immensely in love with animals. She had a great bonding with animals. She used to love animals. We'll see while the story ends. She was so we can see two characteristic feature of the grandmother. Firstly, she is a very religious woman. Secondly, she have a very good love, or she have humanitarian approach, or she have a lot of compassion for animals. My grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. Now this is, as I told you, she was a very religious lady. She would always take her grandson to school, and this was one of her excuse to visit the temple. She could not find any more excuse to visit the temple, and she used to do that every day. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer, while the children sat in rows on either side of the veranda singing the alphabet of the prayers in chorus. My grandmother sat inside reading the scripture. So she had admitted her grandson with the hope that he would become same religious like like her, and he will learn all the religious scriptures, all the religious hymns, all the religious songs and everything. And with that hope, what she did, she actually got him admitted to one of these schools or small pathshalas, you can say, that was formed inside the temple, where the priest of the temple would teach them the religious scriptures. They will teach the students this morning prayers and other prayers and religious hymns. Everything was taught to the students. The students sat on either side of the veranda. Then they would sing the alphabet. The alphabet means they will learn the grammar. Like we have this A, B, C, D English alphabets, there are Hindi alphabets also, there are Bengali alphabets. They will learn this because they were small kids. They will start learning the alphabets. Then as it was a pathshala or a small gurukul that was being set out on a temple, the temple priest would teach them the religious scriptures. They will teach the students this different form of hymns and songs that were prevalent in this religion. Okay. When we had both finished, we would walk back together. This time, the village dog would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw at them. So, all the time that the author was busy in studying in his school, his grandmother would sit inside the temple reading her own scriptures. The scriptures means the religious scriptures. She would study the religious scriptures sitting inside the temple. And then, when they had both finished, they would return back home, and while they returned back home, they would meet the village street dogs. Now we have already seen that the author's grandmother used to carry the stale chapatis for the village dogs. Now there, the village dogs, she used to feed them, and the village dogs would follow them till their house, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis they threw. So they used to feed the dogs on the way back. When my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was the turning point in our friendship. Okay, see, this has been highlighted because it is where the story also takes a turn. Okay, so what happened? The parents were comfortably settled. We have already learned in the third paragraph that the parents of the author had gone to and live in another city. Maybe the parents have took up a job, and then they need to settle up. Then they had the intention of calling the grandmother and grandson together. They could live together, but as soon as they got settled down, they definitely called up accordingly. So they all can live together, and that was a turning point. But that was a turning point. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me, and I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs on the street, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of a city house. So this was a turning point of their life, because the relationship, the friendship that was being shared by the grandson and the grandmother was turning to tear apart. Now this was a small crack that happened. That was a small crack that happened as soon as they moved into the city. Then they were sharing the same room, but there the grandmother cannot come to leave her grandson off to the school, because there the author was admitted to an English school, and there he availed a bus. There was school bus facilities, and the bus used to take him to his school, back and forth to his school. Okay, here you can see the changing scenario of the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson. And here also the narrator or the author, he is giving an emphasis on that it was a turning point in our friendship. Okay, here also one thing changed, that we had already heard earlier that the grandmother used to take this stale chapatis along with her, and she used to feed this young, this village dogs while they used to come back home from school. Now this thing also stopped. She could not accompany her grandson along with while he went to school. Okay, so instead of feeding the street dogs, what she did, she started feeding the sparrows in the courtyard of their city house. Okay, as the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teachers had taught me. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning, the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. So, as we learned earlier, that every day this woman, the grandmother, used to accompany her grandson to that village school where the priest of the temple used to teach the students. Now as the grandson had got admitted into English school, and grandmother didn't know anything about it, but still she had that energy, she had that this enthusiasm to wake him up in the morning. She used to do the same thing. She used to wake him up in the morning at some time, and then she used to get him ready for school till his school bus comes. And when he used to come back from school, she used to ask out of curiosity that what kind of learning he is being provided in this new English school. And when the author tells him that he is being taught some English words and Western science and learning and law of gravity and Archimedes principle, this would make the grandmother very unhappy. Now this is very common for this is a very common system. This is called a generation gap. Our older generations are used to see things in a certain way that we are not used to. They believe that certain things used to be in a way that is appropriate for them, that they feel that it should be, and we on the other hand feels that things should be different. Things should be like what we used to with what we are used to see. Okay, so this is a generation gap. To the grandmother, learning does not only mean learning this English words, this English science and Archimedes principle, law of gravity. Learning is not only this. Learning is actually building of a man's morality, building of his building of his character, and that could only be done while if you learn this religious scriptures, religious books, if you learn this hymns and the Vedas and Upanishads, etc., etc. And this would only make you a proper human being, will give you a proper development of your personality and character. And learning this English words, this Western science and Archimedes principle, law of gravity, is nothing but wastage of time according to the grandmother. And this is why she was very happy when she learned that her grandson is learning all these things instead of this morning prayers, evening prayers, these religious hymns and chantings. Okay, She could not help me with my lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English school. As I told you, she could not help her grandson with the lessons, because these are something that she had never heard of, she had never learned. She had only learned whatever she had been taught since she was a child. Okay, this is something, this is a phenomena that she is very this is very alien for her. She could not understand this, she could not relate to this, and for her this is something that is useless, worthless, something that is not needed, something that will deteriorate her grandson's personal character, something that will not bring up develop him more morally, something is not going to develop his character. And that is why she was unhappy. She could not help him with the studies, she could not relate herself with whatever teaching her grandson was getting from the school to her, and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. Now, as I told you, according to her, only reading about the God and the scriptures will give you, this proper building of morality and character that is very important for a human being to establish himself in this world. One day I announced that we had been given music lessons. She was very disturbed. To her, music had lewd association. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars, and not meant for gentle folks. She said nothing, but a silence meant disapproval. She rarely talked to me after that. Now, definitely, the author was going to a very modern school. They were being provided with music lessons, and when he came and announced this in front of his grandmother, his grandmother was highly disturbed. According to her, this music lessons only are given to people who are either beggars, or they are this harlots, or this people who are prostitutes. Okay, so music and dancing is now this is not today. If you go back, if you have heard, if you go back, if you research a bit, if you go back maybe 50 or 100 year back, you will see that this music and dancing thing was more attached to people who had this lewd connection than to the people who were noble birth. Even at that time also, in our country, in our state also, people would not allow their children to learn music or dancing. Mainly people of good who are of high or noble birth, they would never allow their children to learn music and dancing, because this usually used to bear some lewd connections, and they disapproved this. So same like them, the grandmother disapproved the idea that her grandson is learning this music in his school. Okay, so we'll stop over here. Tomorrow we will continue with the next part, and we'll start from the next from the next paragraph. Okay, thank you so much.